No. But let me explain. As you saw in the title, do you need a cinema camera? And truly, I believe the answer is no for most people. And I'm gonna explain in this video. The idea of this video kind of came from my first Komodo FX6 and C70 camera video that I did. I got a few DMs on Instagram as well as a few of the comments where people were asking just questions in general about it. One user on Instagram in particular, we had a long conversation. If you're watching this video, hey, what's up, man? It's nice chit-chatting with you. He was stuck between the FX6 or the Red Komodo and didn't exactly know where to go with that. And I've been talking to him and we kind of got to a point where he's thinking maybe he'll just get the FX3. Now that might be contradictory to like what my video was, but that video was just talking about the Red Komodo as an item to buy. But in actuality, I don't think every person needs a Red Komodo. I think a Red Komodo really shines for individuals that are in that indie level that want to do higher budget stuff with crew and also have the ability to have a really cinematic visuals when they're doing run and gun. I don't like that term. That term is so overused. Let me re-say that. Just solo shooting or small crew shooting. This camera I think shines really well, but it does have its issues, right? It, for one, you need to basically buy neat video for this camera, in my opinion. And that's not a negative thing. They just don't do any noise reduction in camera. So neat video is a camera necessity for any really cinema camera. It takes away all the noise. It's amazing. This is an ad. Sponsor me neat video if you're watching, but it's a great program. I'm sure you've heard many people talking about it, but some people don't want to do that. Some people just want to shoot out of camera. And that's kind of what this video is about. Because I don't think a lot of people need a camera like this. Even sometimes I question like, do I need this camera? Because it is expensive, and sometimes, you know, like this R5.6 I've used on a bunch of shoots. I just recently shot a little documentary piece with it, and I was just using that because I knew there was gonna be a lot of motion and I wanted to rely on the autofocus for some of the shots. And the images, when you get to a high level of camera gear, I don't know the ratio, but a majority of people, if it's shot well, if you know how to light, if you have lights, people are not going to be like, oh man, yeah, dude, this would be so much better if it was shot on a Red or an Alexa. Like, yeah, you shot this on a 5C, i5RC, or you shot this on an FX3, or you shot this on an A7 III. No one's gonna say that, because that's what it kind of comes down to. And I think people get caught up in gear. I get caught up in gear. I love buying stuff. I have way too much stuff. I try to use it as much as I can, but there's a lot of stuff that I buy. You know, perfect example, I bought, I was an early buyer of the original Ronin RS, or just the R. Is it RS? I don't know. The Ronin handheld one, the first one, I bought it. I used it a bunch because I had a 5D Mark IV at the time. But then when I got the Komodo, I also got the R2S, but I've used it like twice or 3 times throughout the whole time. And then by that time, the R3 is already out. And it's like, should I have really bought that? Used to have a lot of drones. I basically sold all my drones and I don't need them as much. And so I sold a bunch of them. I only have one right now. And I think that's what this video is really about. Do you need a cinema camera? I don't know, that's up to you. If you're not shooting, if you're primarily only shooting small, it's hard, just smaller one-man crew things, little commercials for companies that are local, or even stuff inside your at-home studio commercials. I don't know if the Red Komodo or really a cinema camera is for you. I think people, because of the idea of cinema gets people excited, you know, all the great movies are shot on cinema cameras, and that's true, but when it comes down to it, a cinema camera is just a tool, truly is just a tool. The reason why you get a cinema camera is for the ease of use on set. We'll just use this as an example because I have it in front of me, and the R5C. This camera has much more ability to be built up, rigged into the uses that I need. If you're not gonna use a first AC ever, you don't need, I think, a Red Komodo really. If you're not gonna ever use timecode, I mean, that has timecode, but you know, this control item, the Limo, if you're really never gonna be doing follow focuses, and like, again, going back to the first AC, a lot of these like features that are on a Red Komodo, or you know, an Alexa, an Arri Alexa, or you know, an LF, or an RE Mini. Those are built for high production, high crew people. And if you're not doing it, don't get caught up in that, you know, stuff. I think for most people, unless you're working with a lot of crews, the R5C or the FX3 are good enough by far. The dynamic range is amazing on those cameras. You can get away with a lot of the shots. And that's like another thing. Another person asked me about dynamic range. Today's like prosumer range of cameras are so good. Obviously, yes, you're gonna have issues with dynamic range on the lower end. Of course, you know, this camera claims, I think 16 stops of dynamic range. It's really closer to like 13 or 14, depending on your lighting situation, because, you know, those charts can kind of be fudged depending on like, oh yeah, we have amazing shadow recovery in the low end that you're never gonna use, so they can say 16, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not gonna get into dynamic range. There's many videos out there for that, but dynamic range is important, but to a point. The R5C has great dynamic range. It shoots C-Log if I wanna have a flat color profile. And yes, it is, you know, I guess the same price as the Komodo base, but that is much more usable out of pocket than this. You know, after everything, it's probably closer to like 10,000, even like 11 or 12,000, depending on how many accessories you buy for the Komodo. And if you're not using it in the way that it's meant to be used, it's kind of a waste of your money. When it comes down to it, that could be your go-to, your workhorse for years. And so what does it not look like a cinema camera, or does it have, you know, the look, like the like physical look of it? That's not as important. What is important is it gonna get the tools that you need for the job? And a lot of times a cinema camera is overkill or just not necessary. I just kind of want to talk person to person, because I think a lot of people get caught up. I mean, and even if you watch my last videos, you might be like, Evan, you're such a hypocrite. You've been like raving about the must-need Komodo accessories and like, you know, is this camera, why the Komodo is the best camera out of those three? And that's true. But I'm also making those videos for people who are either buying the Komodo, who are using the Komodo, who are in that level. But not everyone is in that level. And if you don't have aspirations to work on a big set, or that's not exactly where you want to go, maybe you want a camera that shoots amazing quality, the Canon DSLR, high-end DSLRs, or the Sony DSLRs, those are great cameras that will get you there, or the Blackmagics. The Blackmagics are a great like cinema camera if you're just doing camera. The reason why I'm saying the Sony and the Canon DSLRs is because you can also get photos out of it. I can't shoot photos on this. I can shoot amazing photos on the R5C. So I don't know if this like helps for anything. I just wanted to talk about it because I think there is some lusting out there that people, they want to see the next camera, they want to be happier, they think if they get this thing, they'll get the jobs. That's not true. If you're making good images, you'll get the jobs, but also not entirely. This industry is not the nicest, you know, it is hard, and focusing on getting a new camera isn't gonna change the fact that you may not have a job lined up, and the camera is not gonna get you the job. You working hard, you keep on trying to create stuff, you trying different things is what's gonna get you the job. Also, if you wanna talk about good investments, right here, we'll just, with the lens, $12,000, right? Maybe more, but we'll just say $12,000 for my whole Red Komodo kit. With that money, if I don't have this camera, I can get 12,000D from Aperture. I think that's 3K, 3.5, we'll just say. 600p Nova from, I'm just gonna do Aperture lights because those are the lights I like. That's 3.5, so right there, that's 7. I'll get a 600C, that new color spotlight, that's 2.5. So now we're looking at 950, and then I'll round it out with two 600s, not the Pro versions. Those are 13 each, so that's 26. So that brings it up to 11,000, and then I'll get two spotlight adapters that are both 400, right? That right there would equal how much money is right here. And those lights, if you're used properly and you understand how to light, will make your scene way more cinematic than just a camera. So think about that. Think when you're buying, look at yourself and be like, where am I in my filmmaking career? What am I doing? Do I need a cinema camera? should I invest it in some lights? Should I invest it in modifiers? Maybe I should get a new mic. Maybe I should get a new tripod. Maybe I should just save it for a rainy day fund. Maybe I should use that and take a vacation if I've been working a lot. Those are the questions that you should ask yourself before buying a cinema camera or a new camera. Because at the end of the day, buying a new thing isn't gonna make you happy. You need to find fulfillment within yourself, and a camera is not necessarily gonna do that. So don't buy it just because you think, oh, it's exciting to buy it. Yeah, it is exciting, but that'll eventually wear off. And if there's no jobs coming, this camera is just gonna be collecting dust on the wall. You're not using it for anything. And now you have $12,000 kind of sitting around collecting dust when you could have been putting it elsewhere. So I hope this helps. Again, this was kind of based off of a few people's comments talking about what they think they should do and what I kind of talked to them about. And again, if you're watching it, I hope the information I gave you helped. I kind of think it would be kind of fun to start a little Discord. So if you made it along to the end of the video, comment below some of just questions that you may want to ask filmmaking or anything really. And I'm gonna start a segment on this channel where I just kind of talk about or answer your questions, maybe directly, maybe indirectly. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you. You know, put a like down on the, or like put a comment and say, I watched the whole video, and then people can like it. I don't know, just so I know. But thank you. And I kind of want to make a series with this where I'm just talking more generally to people. So if you have a question, leave the comment below and I'll read through the comments and I will try to make another video kind of addressing it. This video talking about cinema cameras and everything and dynamic range kind of got me thinking about making this video, right? Because people were asking, and I don't want people to feel like they need to have a tool to get the job done. When there's, again, lights are not as sexy, but lights are gonna make your look way better than just a camera. The camera will help, obviously, but if you wanna have your stuff look different, it's all about the lighting, truly. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment and I will make another video. Maybe you'll be a lucky person where I'll talk about your question. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope all is going well with you. Adios.